Okay, here's the second half of this. Now what I want to do is I have my document here and I want to copy a lot of this information over to the other document that's going to be the radial pattern. So I want to copy everything except for the symmetry layer. So I'm going to lock that down, and then I'm going to select the entire document. And then I need to make sure I'm on one of the blue lines, and I'm going to hit the Option key, and I'm going to drag the entire document over. And I just make sure I line up with you can see the red smart guide saying we're centered, and that's okay. All right. Uh, so a couple of things are going to change. I might want to change my motif out for the radial pattern, but basically the information graphics will be the same. I'm going to need to change the lettering and in the position. Obviously, this is going to be, I'm going to call this the radial pattern. So I'll call it radial 3 axis. And then I'll just bump it towards the center. Okay. Let me bring in the symmetry. So I'm going to lock down all of this, and I'll bring this, unlock the symmetry pattern. Make sure I'm in that layer. I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to use this guy, Place. All right, and okay. So you can see it's in the way here. So I'm going to rotate the entire object. So I'm going to go Object, Transform, Rotate 30 degrees. So it'll depend on the axis that you used. I want to make sure it's in the center. So right there where it aligns with the center, that's it. I just need to make it a little bit bigger so it goes to my border. So I'm going to hit the Shift and then the Option key, which will enlarge it from the center. That's good. All right. So I'm going to lock that in place. I'm going to move the text down just a little bit. That looks good. So of course, I need to put my body of my text in here, but this is going to suffice for the demonstration. Okay, now I need to save them. So again, one of the things that I would do is I would go File, Save As, and I would save the entire document. And save it to your desktop. So the dialog is going to come up. Don't save each artboard if you just want to save the whole file, and hit OK. So now you can open this and they're both editable. Now what we need to do, and again what I would do is, before you get too far, let's check the spelling. So go Type, and then go Edit, and then go Check Spelling, and then just hit Start, and then it will check your spelling. So if you have any errors, it'll check for that. Okay. Once you've got that checked, what we want to do for printing is we want to do something called Create Outlines. But once you do that, the text is not editable. So that's why we've saved another editable file. Okay. So what we want to do is have everything locked but the text, and we're going to select the entire document, which is going to select only the text, and then we're going to go Type, and we're going to go Create Outlines. And what that does is it turns all the text into a vector, so it's going to print a lot better. Okay, So once you've done that, now the text isn't editable, okay? So now let's save these for print. So you could do a couple of things. You could save them as two separate Illustrator files, take them to CalCopy. He can print them from Illustrator files. If you wanted to save them as PDFs, you want to do something a little bit different. But let's say we're going to save them as Illustrator files ready to print. So we're going to go File, Save As, and we're going to say Illustrator file. So I would give this a different name and just go Outlines, because then you know this is the file that has the text with outlines on it. Because if you save it as a symmetry project, it's going to ask you to replace it, and you don't want to do that. So you're going to go Save, and then the dialog box go Save each artboard range 1 to 2. OK. And as it's saving it, you'll see it on the desktop as two separate Illustrator files. Now let's say you wanted to save them. You're going to go File, Save As, Adobe PDF, and then you want to go Range, and you want to go 1, 2, 2. Save, and then it's going to ask you if this is okay, but what you want to do is go to save it as a PDF 2010, and then basically that flattens the layers and that makes it better for the printer. Say okay, yes, it's not going to be, then save PDF. Okay, and that's it. You can see that what it does is it gives you a preview of the PDF, and it will print as two separate documents here. Okay, that's all.